Now.
Hello.
Hello everyone, I'm Jack Yardley, I'm here with Sam Congrave and Seb, what's your surname?
What? How long have you known me? Go on, take a wild guess.
An hour?
Take a wild guess.
Is it Gran?
Yes. Yes.
It always seems like there's more to your surname than that.
What do you mean by more to it? Like it's got some secret hidden meaning?
Yes.
What, like it's an anagram for something? You know,
Possibly.
like, I don't know, Tom Marvolo Riddle, that sort of thing?
Possibly. I mean, I don't really expect people to use their full name for their Skype names.
Well, I've got nothing to hide, you know, it's not like, oh, that Seb's a really bad person because he's doing a string with Jack Yardley, you know, that's not going to happen. Anyway, talk me through this.
Well, by the looks of things, the quality looks crap.
Well,
can you see the stream for yourself right now?
I will in a second. It still says her story on.
Oh yeah, I need to change that one.
Pick your language, and then it's between Polish and English, even though the game's called Yugoslavia. I'm trying to understand this. This is a national jumble.
A trip to Yugoslavia is based on the choices when you need to decide what to do. The tape stops and a few possible options are displayed on the screen. Your job is to pick one of them. Be careful though, every decision is saved. You can't replay the game unless you finish it.
Why is there a picture of a child holding up an iPad in front of what looks like a tank?
I'm glad you can see that. I can see what I believe is a face in front of a
yeah, Sam, tell us what you make of this, because this is very odd.
Can't see anything at the moment. I'm still,
Well, the game is called Yugoslavia, you know, after the now defunct country. But the choices are to play it in either English or Polish. Sorry, Sam?
I didn't know Yugoslavia was defunct.
Yeah, well, it's sort of dissolved in the last 20 years into other countries, you know, like Serbia and Slovenia and, Bosnia.
So basically what England will be in about 5 years.
Yeah, you can make the argument that it could balkanise. Yeah.
Well, we won't have guns in this country, we'll be using knives.
Okay,
there's
a picture of a little man running towards two tall men with guns while you yourself are pointing at. Why is that man so little?
I think he's
Or are
running
they
away.
massive?
Quick
yeah,
time
but why is he so little compared to
Maybe
those?
he's fighting giants.
Quick time
I think he is. I'm not sure if he's little or they're giant. There's tall trees around them if they are. I think it's a little, 2-foot man who is being chased down.
Look, I don't think this is Tom Thumb here. Quick time events are essential to your survival. If you don't press a button, you can die, or even change the outcome of the entire story. Pay attention, you need to press the arrow in the pivot's facing direction. Static makes the wording a little difficult to understand.
Yeah, it's not a very good gameplay feature, and it's not that thematic. It looks like when you're trying to watch a dodgy channel in the 90s and the static covers up half the screen.
Press right.
Hey, Sam, I just found out apparently Woolworths is coming back.
What, really? As a store? Because I knew it was an online store after the whole thing shut down.
Apparently, yeah.
Well,
that'd be good.
Well, I heard Zachary
said something that says Woolworths set for shock comeback to Britain's high street.
Well, I heard Zachary Quinto is going to be in London at the end of this month.
I wonder if the two events are related.
I doubt it. Press right shift to fast forward, press the space bar to pause, left shift to rewind to the last checkpoint.
Rewind?
They're playing something like Yugoslavia.
I don't know why it's called that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not clear, is it?
It could be worse. At least he's not playing Postal.
A trip to Yugoslavia lets you inspect the environment sometimes. Well, surely that's the point of the trip anywhere.
Using a point and click system.
Click on boots to walk somewhere. What, like the pharmacy?
Probably.
click on the eye icon to inspect something.
Good luck surviving.
So it's a survival horror game set in
Yeah, I don't know.
Yugoslavia.
I don't know if it's horror. Would you guys like to play some kind of bet on my survival chances? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't like to take bets on people's existence unless it's like in James Bond movies.
Although
Also,
I
had a thought, by the way, since I've got you both here and you're both, well, James Bond people.
Yeah.
Well, I am. I don't know about
how
Seb.
You know how
I am.
You know that iconic scene, with the whole having James tied to the table and they've got the laser.
Oh, in Goldfinger, yeah.
Yeah.
What if they got the guy with the cat?
He wasn't in that one.
No, but imagine if he'd done it, and as he was doing it, his cat jumped in the way of the laser.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh my god.
And then the whole moment is ruined, and then like James gets out, he's like, "I'm so sorry. Do you need a minute? We can do this next week."
Well,
And then the next week, the guy is just so traumatized about his cat, he then lies on the table and to allow himself to be cut up by the laser, and then his son comes in and is like, "Dad, I want you to know, oh my god, Dad, what are you doing?" Jumps in the way and he gets killed by the laser.
Blofeld didn't actually have a son. It was more of an Austin Powers thing.
he also didn't have a laser, unless you count the diamond satellite thing from.
I know,
Diamonds
that's
Are
why
Forever.
I know, but I'm just saying it'd be hilarious if it's probably why he didn't use the laser, because his cat would be attracted to the laser.
Ouch.
Wasn't Goldfinger the only Sean Connery era James Bond villain who didn't work for Spectre?
Yes.
Which I think makes him more impressive.
To some extent, yes, but his Operation Grand Slam pales in comparison to Max Zorin's Project Mainstrike.
Oh yeah, it's difficult to beat Christopher Walken. Why are there people dressed in army costumes?
Presumably because this is a militaristic background.
Well, I don't know, is this set during the whole Bosnian war, like 20 years ago?
Now that I don't know. This is something I literally know nothing about.
It seems like a sweeping generalisation to call it Yugoslavia. I don't know, it'd be like if they made a video game about the Iraq War and called it Middle East.
I'm still trying to master these controls here.
Okay. Well, the boy who looked like Justin Bieber just dropped a knife, and they're interviewing someone who looks like he could have been in an 80s indie band.
Speaking of, hasn't Justin Bieber challenged Tom Cruise to a fight?
I think I saw that. It sort of reminds me of that thing from BoJack Horseman where BoJack challenges anyone who doesn't like his book to a duel.
Okay, that's how the fast forward and rewind thing works.
Also, does anyone remember the game Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex?
Yes.
Vaguely.
Does anyone remember that the mask, one of the masks, the water mask, is voiced by the guy who played the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket?
Yes.
No! I didn't know that.
Now all we really need then is for that mask to scream, "I will gouge out your eyeballs and skull fuck you!" Just mod the game to have his lines from Full Metal Jacket.
Say what you will, I say his best one was, "What is your major malfunction?"
That was a good one.
Yeah, just add that one.
I may be about to get shot.
Oh!
Oh.
Just trying to figure out what the peelings were.
Oh, Sam, did you decide to show Liz the show I've been writing?
I haven't had time to show her the thing because again it would require not paying attention to Nicole.
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course.
Seb was curious at one point if you wanted to look at his script at one point, see what you thought. To be honest, I don't know if it'd be Liz's whole thing.
I don't know either. I'm just curious to get like a range of views from different people.
I know, but yours is very close to BoJack levels of humour, and Liz doesn't really like BoJack.
I don't really like BoJack.
You've not watched it, Jack.
I know.
Then how do you know enough to be able to form an opinion?
I just do.
What's it about then, if you know so much about it?
It doesn't appeal to me.
You didn't answer my question.
That's because I'm trying to concentrate.
Even though we have all sorts of inane conversations all the time anyway.
Basically, Seb, it's basically that you put him in a situation where he can't give a realistic answer.
Well, exactly, because he doesn't know anything about it.
Well, to be fair, Seb, saying it doesn't appeal to him is fair enough. But he can't actually objectively say...
I just find it odd that he has no reason. I'm curious about the reason more than anything else.
At least he's not saying the show is shit. Then it would be a different story.
Well, yeah, because he'd have no way of knowing.
Yeah, also, did you know that PS1 has an Aladdin game?
Vaguely?
About
take a while.
Jafar's sister trying to rescue him?
Yeah, I remember something about that. Okay, so why is Justin Bieber tied up in Yugoslavia? We were watching that same clip of him on that sleeping soldier.
That's because I'm doing this wrong.
Right. So, are we playing as Justin Bieber? Are we supposed to be helping him, or is he our prisoner? I don't understand this. And why have they arrested him?
What am I not doing?
Why have they
here?
left just one soldier to guard him? Oh, you are Justin Bieber, okay. Oh, another soldier's coming.
I dare say some of the controls on this don't work.
Yeah, I think you need a soldier to cry on.
Oh, that was lame, but that was also funny.
Oh, did you like that, Liz?
The basic summary of all of Seb's humour.
To be fair, Seb's writing has gotten a lot better. And he seems to understand humour enough these days.
I need to get...
I feel like you know more about this game than I do, Jack, and you're playing it.
Well, yes, because I'm the one who plays these FMV games.
Well, yes, but I really don't know what's going on. I just don't understand what problem they have with Justin Bieber, and it's the 90s from what I can gather, so it wasn't even born yet? Yeah, I don't get this. And the soldiers come in again.
I
Very
know.
young.
These controls are a little difficult. I'm not entirely sure they work.
Camera girl! Yeah, actually.
Is it just me, or does he look like he's holding a lightsaber at the moment? Like, and he's about to use it?
I don't see a lightsaber.
Well, no, it looks like he's holding something in his, like, fists.
Uh-oh. Bring those back, please.
Right, okay.
Oh, excuse me, but that's something that you all needed to know.
Thank you.
What an unusual premise for a video game. And why does it give you only 2 language options, of which are British and Polish?
Because Yugoslavia for quite a while did speak a version of Polish. And then they had to convert to Russian.
Well, the only thing is that, you know, I would have thought that a more likely language would be something like Hungarian, because Hungary is kind of in between Yugoslavia and Poland.
Yeah, Russian would probably make more sense. 'Cause I'm pretty
Yeah, because a lot of them probably, you know, had to learn that during, like, the Tito days, you know, and stuff.
Yeah. I do think they had good relations with Poland, so a lot of their population spoke Polish at one point, but I can't...
Possibly, I suppose that would have been, like, during the Warsaw Pact years.
Yeah.
I don't don't know, it just feels a bit weird that they only give you 2 options out of all the languages in the world. Especially when the game is called Yugoslavia and assumably set in Yugoslavia, because otherwise why call it that?
Smart choice.
So all you had to do was take the blindfold off. That's all you had to do.
I'm just going to murder this guy now.
It's like this on here in Solid Snake was played by just... Oh, he's about to stab him. Oh my god, this is getting dark. He's about to stab him.
Yeah, because I wanted him to stab him so he doesn't stab
Why is he
him.
hesitating?
What a...
Sorry, Liz has just left the room.
And why does it say the Battle of Los Angeles in the background? It's Yugoslavia. Why does it talk about Los Angeles? What is this?
I getting a cuddle. Oh, Mike getting a cuddle. Oh.
I mean, what's next? He'll walk over the ridge and he'll see a Japanese flag? Oh, I'm confused.
I don't know, Seb. I'm just trying not to die.
You don't care about the confused nationalities involved. Was he taking a leak? I think he was taking a leak.
I'd say he was guarding.
I don't know, he was just holding his hand in front of his crotch in a very dodgy looking way. In the woods.
Well, his rifle's on the...
Yeah, why was his rifle on the ground? Wouldn't you hold that in a war zone? I can't believe he's not noticed you. Go on, full Nelson.
Sleeper hold.
Cross-faced chicken wing.
Yeah. This looks like a really bad clip from, you being pranked. Did he just snap his neck?
Oh, I saw it.
Look,
Oh, yeah, I
here's
saw
the thing though, if he just snapped his neck, why hasn't he hesitated stabbing that person before? Like, if he's not afraid to snap someone's neck with his bare hands, then why is he afraid to stab someone to death? I'm confused.
Apparently he doesn't like, blood.
This is really odd.
Oh no. Oh yeah, so I saw a YouTube poop of Toy Story where it was about Buzz and Woody fighting over Bo Peep.
I've seen that.
Brilliant, you gotta
It was
send me
edited
that.
pretty well. Stay away from Bo. She's mine. Are you saying you wish to lodge complaint? And he just pushes him and then it just pans to him falling out the window. And as they fight outside the car, what happens at the end is when Andy's car's going off, Buzz just runs after it and jumps and he goes, Bo is mine.
Oh, that's just quality. You've got to send me that.
I will. Oh god, some of I've seen a few of them. Most of them usually end with Buzz being thrown out of the window, regardless of what happens. Or him dying in the intro to that Buzz Lightyear game. Over and over again.
Well, for an active war zone, there's a lot of graffiti.
Almost certainly came about before the fighting
And why does
started.
it say Ask Fuck 2015 if it's set in the 90s? I think this game is deliberately designed to confuse.
Almost certainly.
It's like you made this game, actually.
No, I'm not going to pull it up now.
Seb, if I made this game, it would be a lot more difficult to complete.
So it would be a lot more cryptic and confusing than it already is, even though it's already very cryptic.
Trying to figure out, but it's in PDF, and I don't.
Oh my god! Look, it's an electrode. There's an electrode from Pokemon.
I'm gonna try and send that document over to Liz at some point.
Yeah, awesome.
So she can give it a read.
The game I made back in Hereward for my diploma in digital application was pure evil.
So far we've seen Pokemon, someone who looks like Justin Bieber but kills people, and graffiti from 20 years in the future. Oh look, there's a bottle on the ground.
Yeah, I can't do anything with that, I don't believe.
That's a shame. You could bludgeon someone to death with a plastic bottle.
You can.
Yeah. I'm sure you can if you do it long enough.
I could also bludgeon someone to death with the rifle that I've currently got in my hand, but...
Well, they'd be the butt of the joke.
You're a very kind person to laugh at such things, Sam.
Oh, come on, I love puns. Oh, that was a joke about smacking someone at the end of the rifle and saying he'd be the butt of the joke.
Why is there graffiti of an electrode from Pokemon though? I don't understand this. It looks sad as well.
No, I was going to say its primary move is being told to explode and kill itself.
Maybe it's an allegory for the army. Like how it sends people to death in their prime for the sake of their trainers.
Spotter. Oh, the mind spotter. All you have to do is go boom!
Do you know what? My theory is someone went on holiday to Yugoslavia, took all these pictures, had their earphones in the whole time so they learned absolutely nothing about the country, and put it together to make a random game.
Sounds like something off of Steam.
It is off
It
Steam.
is something off Steam.
Steam, you mean the game distribution service that Valve has said as long as the game isn't illegal, they don't care what goes up, and this includes the game AIDS 2, where you go around shooting Africans.
There's some right shite on Steam.
There is a lot of shit on Steam because it wasn't regulated properly and anything could get on there. There was even a game about shooting gay people up there for a while.
Well,
NPC Kotaku.
Yeah, Kotaku, the people who pretend to be a video game just review site, but really they've admitted they don't play video games.
Exit
Isn't
change.
NPC non-player character?
Yeah, but it's also used for a bunch of it's also now used as a term for people with no personality. Basically, imagine SJWs but they're all completely robotic and give nothing but stock answers.
Of the wild these days now.
if I'm not much mistaken, I think I'm getting shot at.
Is that a snake? What is that? I can't tell what that thing is. Okay, well it's gone now, whatever it was.
What happened to my assault rifle?
I don't know. Why have you only got a small gun now? Your gun has changed in the last 10 seconds from an assault rifle to like a little pistol.
The word is cider on that.
It's so weird.
Let's see.
Someone literally just took some
Well,
toy
game.
guns on holiday and took pictures of their friend who looked like Justin Bieber and made a game out of it.
Oh, should I really? Yeah, like I'm really gonna be.
That is what basically Metroidvania comes from, because Metroid had a very specific style of how the game worked, and Castlevania started adopting that same style. So
Metroid another game? Or
yeah,
another
Metroid was Metroid was another game.
Right, but it's similar to
Well, no, Castlevania basically after when Symphony of the Night came out, it copied the style and
That
the
was
gameplay.
stupid.
How the
That
game
gunshot would attract attention.
going from room to room.
yeah, why did you do that? I
'cause
kind
the
of saw
game-
that coming.
The game didn't give me a
They were
choice.
called Metroidvanias.
Why
I like
is
how your mouse cursor is of an assault rifle to remind you of the weapon, but you just inexplicably lost.
people who design this don't seem to know much about subtlety.
Well, no, I don't think they know much about anything.
Every
by
time
the
this
looks of
guy's
it.
walking around, he's walking.
Is that a helicopter over
standing
there? Is that
up.
like a flying saucer? I can't tell.
It's probably best you can't tell.
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if aliens did turn up.
It's Kotaku. No one takes them seriously anyway.
Okay, grassland. The season is taking its toll. At least the view is great. Well, no, it's not, because there's a mysterious object, but we can't tell what it is.
You're right, Seb, that is a helicopter. It's standing dead still.
Because that's how helicopters work. They just don't move at all in the sky.
Apparently not in this game.
Why is there a pair of binoculars on the ground?
Because somebody dropped them.
They won't know what
Tents are empty.
This
Soldiers
place
are
full of
probably...
really lazy people. All tents.
is gonna go grab Castlevania Symphony of the Night off the
Where's the-
Who's
shelf.
talking?
Where's the helicopter gone?
Happen. They're gonna pick up something gone, a Spider-Man.
Mansion.
Their first-
That's a helicopter, not a mansion.
So,
Yeah, but this is a mansion.
when you're using something to
Then why is there a helicopter?
I don't know, but apparently someone has stayed in the mansion.
you're already going to like have some background in gaming.
Oh, there's cars. I can't wait to see what number plate those cars have, because it's not going to be Yugoslav number plates, whatever it is.
Let's just say, we're just going to change the game. So the first argument they have is the name is disaster. The second argument, which is arguably the same as the first one, is that Metroidvania is at odds with the language we use to talk about video games, which is totally stupid. I think it's right dead on with the language we use to talk about video games, because talking about Metroidvania is to talk about third-class video games. And there's some truth to this, and it's not a perfect name. The point is that
That wasn't them. They're after me. Oh no.
Is somewhat valid, but I would say, what are you going to replace Metroidvania? There are no options given. It's a very different thing. They don't bother.
Alright. What's this game got?
suppose
Got an achievement? What's your achievement, Jack? War has been. Oh, guys, Jack's just got an achievement called The War Has Been. So that gives you an idea of the quality of the game.
Damn. Wrong button. I'm dead.
Dead? And why are they still chasing you?
These aren't perfect terms. They're not as evocative as genre categories would say film, or terms like horror, romance, and genre describe emotions, feelings that you might
You don't have
expect.
to start all over again, do you?
Because they logic to, and they serve a purpose, establishing how you're going to interact with the game.
Either join me or I put a bullet through your skull. It's a pretty simple ultimatum.
Music, which uses a certain set of basic rules for words.
I don't understand this. You just gave him the finger! Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's balls. That's football. Trip to Yugoslavia. Director's cut. Director's cut. Director's cut. So, you decided to attack the soldier first. You showed them what you really think.
They make
No data!
I used to write about video games at publications geared towards people who didn't
Sam,
necessarily
are you still watching
play
this?
games. Well, then why are they
The
reading?
game
Why-
isn't based on any real conflict in Yugoslavia.
Are you talking
I
about
can tell.
actually working for a publication that writes articles not geared towards people that are doing right now? So I would argue that you're still writing for people that don't play games, and they're not going to come over to concoct the latest and after journal. But you don't. But,
What, you playing it again?
Of course I'm playing it again. I want to see if I can do better. Don't you want to see if I can do better?
Yeah, and I want to try and make sense of this nonsensical game. full Nelson. Do the full Nelson.
Oh, would I do a full Nelson?
I don't know, you're the one playing the game.
Full Nelson, Stinger Splash, German.
Seb, a full Nelson wouldn't stop him from screaming.
Well,
Full Nelson. I don't think of wrestling fans. I should think of the film with the poor male strippers.
The Full Monty.
Yeah.
the full Monty! Oh, that's great.
No, it isn't.
Because originally Full Nelson did
Okay, you successfully beat him that time.
Monty because the character's name was Monty.
I successfully beat him the last time as well, if you recall.
But I like how since then the term full Monty has become synonymous with a man not wearing any clothes.
Yeah.
I don't know why why you're having that conversation.
Because you said full Monty, and we were talking about the movie The Full Monty.
I didn't say full Monty.
Well, who did then? Why are we talking about The Full Monty?
I believe you did.
You said Full Nelson, and then my wife.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I thought that Jack was talking about The Full Monty then.
No, why would I do
Okay,
that?
well, I like how there's still graffiti of a knob in that bunker. Like, they didn't bother to censor that or anything.
My camera is supposed to be was in this chamber, as I recall correctly, and now it isn't.
There's only 4 chambers.
Yes, and apparently there's no process of elimination. It will appear apparently when it's ready to appear, which is
So it will randomly drop out the sky at any point.
quite possibly.
I wonder if this game is like Castlevania, and if you punch through the walls, you'll find stuff.
Well, I can't punch through any walls, so no. There we are.
Speaking of Castlevania, I have got the special collection that was released.
Oh yeah.
They released a collection with Castlevania 1, 2 and 3, along with Super Castlevania 4, one of the Dracula games that was only available in Japan, the Mega Drive game, and I think a couple of others as well.
Oh, I still got to book my ticket to the coach, but I'm going to London next week because I'm going to an open day at Ealing Studios.
Nice. I haven't been to London in quite a while.
Yeah, I haven't been for years. I haven't needed to.
I'm going there at the end of this month.
Oh yeah, for Comic Con.
I'm going to a Comic Con up here in Stirling, oddly enough.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Yeah, they're having a Comic Con up in one of the big buildings up here in Stirling. I think it's the 27th.
Really cool.
I'll have to look it up. Hold on, let's check.
It's cool that they're having Comic Cons in more places now.
I don't know why he's hiding it. I mean, this is a war zone.
I don't know why he's doing anything. I really don't.
I believe he's a photographer.
But then again, actually, it makes sense for him to hide it because he's just wearing civilian clothes, so he might be able to trick a soldier into thinking it's just a person out on a war. In fact, why do they all assume he's some sort of threat?
Maybe they just don't like having people around.
Yeah, how dare people walk through the countryside?
They sound like English landowners in Scotland.
Hold on, it says the 28th of July, I think.
I still don't understand why there's a helicopter though. It serves no purpose. It's just a mystery helicopter that has appeared out of nowhere. It's just I demand that my helicopters have a reason to exist.
All 28th July. Let's see. Sterling
Still just sitting there doing nothing.
Hold on, I think it's at 11:30. But I need to make sure that's actually on a day. What day that is?
Surprised they haven't stopped me yet.
Damn it.
I'm surprised I haven't shot you either.
Oh
He
shit.
just fell over.
That's
Oh no.
in practice.
Of course, I thought it was on 27th, which would be the Saturday.
Yeah, it would. I mean, all the buses, none of the buses are running today.
You could be cheeky and ask Maureen if she's free.
Okay, we'll ask. We can ask.
Or maybe Sharon.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll ask.
Maybe she's too glad we should just do all the faster ones that we can catch you. Say Sunday.
Yeah.
How did I not shoot one of them?
I don't know, maybe out of mercy or something, I don't know.
Yeah, but he's just standing there and I pulled the trigger.
He's an odd character because at one minute he hesitates at killing people and then the next he's snapping their necks.
Indeed.
I don't understand this character's motivation, it's really weird.
Got it. Aren't you supposed to be pursuing and eliminating me?
I don't think they know what they're doing. I really don't.
Well, I made it out of there alive, that's something. Don't know how I evaded that helicopter though.
It's always good to make it out of places alive, in my opinion.
Well, they say any crash you can walk away from.
Yeah, they do say that. And any static helicopter that flies but doesn't move, you can get away from. And
Okay.
sorry, I'm just really hung up about that helicopter. I don't know why it bothers me so much.
It was too late to run away. I don't know what's just killed me. The entire town was overrun by enemy soldiers.
Well, I like how they didn't have the budget to show that. That's very much like I have to go now, my planet needs me.
Well, don't know what I was supposed to do about it.
I don't know what you were supposed to do, and I've been watching you play the game.
What about you, Sam? You been enjoying this?
Yeah, it's alright. It's kind of in one of those weird things like Night Trap.
When did I change my outfit?
I like how you went to a clothes shop and bought a coat. That's great.
I'm not going to knock him out. Why would I do that?
Why, are you feeling guilty or something?
No. I just don't give a toss for fictional characters.
You could write for Game of Thrones with that attitude.
Sorry? What'd you say?
You could write for Game of Thrones with that attitude.
Do a better
You know,
job.
because you don't give a crap about fictional characters.
Do an infinitely better job than the last season, I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, I actually believe you would.
Would it interest you to know I actually considered an idea for a Game of Thrones series?
Yeah, go on, give us your premise.
Another time, perhaps.
Tease me, why don't you? I like very 90s 2000s songs, you know, like that one that goes tease me, tease me, tease me, tease me, baby, that one.
Very much on your own there.
I like the novelty behind it though.
I like the novelty behind Monopoly games, but you don't hear me talking about it.
You just mentioned Monopoly this very second.
That was mentioning, that's not talking about it.
What are you when you play Monopoly?
Normally, the car.
I thought you'd be the car, you seem like you would. The car is a very alpha male choice, I will say that.
Okay. I don't know why I'd need a shovel, but I suppose I can try, and I've got a gun anyway, so I can take him out. Probably. Game permitting. Remember that Moral King game where no matter what I did, I found myself losing if I made the wrong choice?
Oh yeah, I like to pretend it was called Oral King, just for the jokes. Just for memes. You know, if you do anything, it's just gotta be for the memes.
Okay, why am I picking up a shovel when there's an automatic weapon there?
Very pertinent question. Just a question, Miley.
I suppose it's conceivable that it's too heavy for this character to wield, but...
Oh, you gotta calm down and stop running into things.
Sod's law indicates that they'll turn around. Just told ya. I do like the retro of this.
It's retro, but it seems to be set in the present day. It's really hard to determine what on earth is going on here.
That may appear to be the setting, but the quality is that of a VHS.
I think that's just because it's the only camera they can get hold of.
I believe it's meant that way, Seb. Give them some credit.
I don't think they even know what country they live in, so I'm not sure I should be giving them any credit at this point.
Everything alright, Sam?
Well, one thing I'll say about Sam in his defence, and I don't think anyone needs to defend him because everyone likes him, but he is a good parent.
Yes, he is. Well, actually, no. I don't really know his. I don't really know his style of parenting. I don't think I can make a judgment call on that. I suppose I have to assume out of respect.
No,
but
I know you just want your mummy.
would I be right?
I
mean, it's like what Sherlock said. You can't make suppositions without data.
What, from Star Trek The Next Generation?
No, that's from the Sherlock Consulting Detective game I played.
I thought you said data, sorry.
Well, that is the technical word for it, yes, data.
I thought you were talking about the character from Star Trek The Next Generation.
Oh, that was stupid. I guess the guy didn't have any other choice, but he's momentarily weaponless for... How long is this? How long is it taking for him to climb?
Quite a while. It's a little bit awkward to watch. Does everyone remember Michael Winner?
How fair I don't. I don't think I ever met the individual.
He was one who went, calm down, it's a commercial.
Oh, yeah, I hated those adverts. People would constantly make jokes about them in secondary school.
So you're saying you were oversaturated?
Well, it's not that, it's just if you hear something enough time, because people don't shut up about it, you tend to get a bit sick of it, really.
Well, yeah, you were oversaturated.
I had the same issue with Pokemon.
I know what you mean, it was everywhere for a while. Pokemon!
done, you're making head pop with your scream.
Lovers are always on time.
I suspect looking into a war zone isn't helping matters.
Well, no. Is there any way you can get out of that war zone, or...?
I believe I'm trying.
Of the land. Boo, 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 boo. Lovers are always on time.
The fellow appears to be thinking on his feet without any contingency or improvisation.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's not exactly what I would call professional. Not exactly commando-ish.
Well, I don't know, check his underwear, see if he's gone commando.
I knew you were going to say that. So predictable.
I know, but hey, if you can predict me, then you know what to expect.
Got him. Okay, they're dead. If I get back, I wonder if anyone's going to ask me, what is to become of the foul myrmidons?
Well, what becomes of the broken-hearted?
Okay, this will be called for CQC. Sorry, are you fighting or hugging?
Oh, enough.
Grave silence.
And the sounds of silence. Oh my god, are you about to bury them?
I believe I am burying them.
I like how he kicks his body. You know, there's some real venom in there.
It's not bad, he's just checking to see if he's dead.
Before he buries him alive.
Well, I believe he wanted to make sure he was dead so that he wouldn't be burying him alive.
Oh, he'd find out pretty quick.
You haven't got a cigarette, so why are you lighting a cigarette later?
That's a good question.
That was pointless.
His hair got darker as well in the last minute.
Such language.
That'll do. Enough of that.
Huh.
That'll do.
Yeah.
Now, what's the matter, miss?
She's just throwing a. I honestly think she's just throwing a tantrum.
Well, she's having a hard time of it.
That and she's so overly attached to you at this point, she'll leave you for a second because the two get really, really, really pissy.
Oh, a light machine gun. Hi.
Why has he got a World War II German soldier's helmet?
Just does.
I mean, is this set in World War II? I'm confused. Why doesn't he wake him up? He could have just killed him in his sleep.
Good question. Some mercy, I suppose.
I don't understand him. One minute he's really merciful, and the next he, you know, will do anything.
What do you think? Food or water or ammunition?
Food that doubles as ammunition.
What do you
Like
think?
the bullet.
What do you think, Sam?
I kind of think that food is more important at this point.
Yeah, because it's pointless, you know, fighting if you can't eat.
Logically, I've just picked... Oh, okay, I'm not carrying the light machine gun. That's annoying. I would have liked to have used that.
Is it a machine gun with a picture of Light Yagami on the front?
No, it's a little more complicated than that. Maybe I should look through the windows just to be sure there's no one there. Maybe I should risk it and go for it. I can't lose too much time or I'll get caught. Better check first. Be amusing if the only food that's available is all canned and he hasn't got anything to cut it, anything to open them up with.
That would be funny.
I believe Sylvester went through something like that on Looney Tunes.
What, you meant Sylvester Stallone at first?
No, Sylvester the cat from Looney Tunes. After all, I did just say Looney Tunes.
Fuckering Thuthathat.
The same.
Can you say that?
Suffering succotash. You can't.
Yeah, but can you say it like he says it?
Suffering succotash.
That's actually pretty good, isn't it? I thought it was good anyway.
Personally, I prefer it when he goes, ah, shap.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I feel every time I have a conversation with you, Seb, I feel like saying that.
What, so you feel like a pussy?
No.
Quiet.
Careful, Seb. There's a small child in the area.
I was only talking about cats.
Since the shovel bought me some time, I can use it to find some bandages and ammo. But maybe I should get it over with and abandon the ammunition. I don't think so. He doesn't seem to be going off his patrol pathway. Maybe I should just wait until he moves. I don't have much time for waiting. I guess I could go in for a risk.
Oh, that's enough of that now. Let's see. Chocolate and orange?
This is irreparably dangerous. He should probably take that guy out Assassin's Creed style with the knife. And
I'll put me knife on a day.
Okay, he isn't. Never mind. He's attracting attention. Okay, they're loyal, aren't they? Only gun they have. Why don't they scramble to try and shoot me?
Good question. It's not that well designed, is it?
Oh no, they're coming for me. That guy's got a light machine gun. This is not the time for eating!
I like that one joke from
It's a very
They
pitiful
say
flashback.
we can't see the stars because of the light pollution and the heavy pollution.
Best guess, I've just been sniped. Oh, no I haven't. I've just killed a sniper.
Well, you know, when life gives you lemons, you squeeze them.
Now, when you get lemons, you give them back. You give it back to whoever get locked to life and say, I don't want your bastarding lemons. I don't like lemons. I don't want these bastarding things. Take them away now and give me something better.
Or, you know, you can always pull the, I'm allergic to citrus.
You know, the profound quote which I've somewhat made amusement of is, two wrongs don't make a right. I say two wrongs may not make a right, but two odds make an even. He is part of this war, and in war there will be bloodshed. That's true. He has surrendered, but so maybe he deserves a chance. What do you think?
Yeah, spare him his life from this monstrosity.
What do you think, Sam?
Kill him.
I agree.
Kill him now.
He'll probably go on to kill more. Oh, suddenly I've been shot.
So you're saying that in a conflict you have been attacked?
Basically.
That is a shocker. I cannot believe that.
No,
It's a good job I stopped for bandages. That's just pitiful.
Pitiful little band.
You know, when I first watched Star Wars Return of the Jedi, I thought he was referring to Obi-Wan, saying pitiful little Ben.
That makes a bit of sense, actually.
It still made me laugh
Little
though.
Ben. Yeah, I love his laugh. They're just such good movies.
Yeah, shame
Every
they've gone
Star Wars
downhill
movie.
so much.
War is over.
Oh, the war's over. I probably should have let that guy live then. Oh,
I love how glib you sounded.
oh well, I wasn't to know.
Oh well, war's over, I should have let him live, but nah.
Oh, I got out of here alive. Who cares?
So the war is over. What was the war about and what was the plot of the game? Because I don't understand the plot of the game.
Just as well.
Well, yeah, but surely it would have had to have had a story. Like,
Yeah, a reason for the war.
yeah,
What
why
the-
did
I
the
wonder
war
what
have-
country. You know how Yu-Gi-Oh had that entire. I don't know what country we're in or what country
That
we're
is
at war
like
with.
this, isn't it?
It's like that, only you don't know what the war was for.
I don't even know what the country is. Based on
Nicole, enough.
the title, but
How long's the stream gone on for?
oh, at least an hour. Hold on.
I've got another game I can stream as well.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what this is, considering how odd this one was.
Well, I believe this game had a sequel.
What, they made Yugoslavia 2?
I think they called it a sequel of sorts.
Yugoslavia 2, the Balkaning.
This game here called Miazma the Devil's Stone.
That sounds like a natural progression for the Yugoslav cinematic universe.
I don't really...
I don't really either. I don't really anything. This is just all very odd.
Maybe that's just as well. Let's see if there's... I only bought these games because they were FMV games. I don't really know anything about them.
Oh no. None of this. Get down.
I did enjoy
No.
playing
You mean
them,
like
though.
dance?
No, you're being naughty. No.
Get down.
Let's see.
Do you guys remember that really weird sort of glitch in GoldenEye? You know, the stuff, the James Bond game.
You mean the one for the N64?
Yeah, there was a weird glitch where everything would just go dancing and looking all silly.
The only glitch I remember from GoldenEye is if you plant explosives on the missile in the silo, you'll destroy the entire complex.
That's great. I just love video game glitches. They can be hilarious. I remember years ago watching this Angry Video Game Nerds one, which was all about video game glitches, and there was this one with Clubber Lang from Rocky where his face just falls apart. It's ridiculous.
You mean the Glitch Gremlin episode?
Yeah, I remember that. That was
Shut up, fool. You ain't hurt.
great.
How's the YouTube vid going?
This is great.
I know Roddy Piper despised him with a passion, and I always found that hilarious.
Was there a reason given for that?
How is
His
it?
reasoning was that Mr. T, his more realistic reason was he didn't like the idea of people who had no respect for what he did, because Roddy was brought up in the 70s, training in the 70s, where they made you fucking work to get in there, and I mean they hazed the shit out of you.
So he resented how easy the later wrestlers had.
Basically, the Clubber Lang came in, basically, Mr. T came in to pretty much do the barest minimum amount of work, get paid more than most people who were working there. He was paid an obscene amount of money compared to people who actually needed the money.
Yeah, assumably because
He felt he took a spot away, and he also said Mr. T was the most pathetic excuse of a human being he'd ever met. He actually drank out of a jeweled goblet and giggled like a woman most of the time, according to Piper. And
Which
he
is
legitimately.
really odd because you never hear
Sorry
anything
for
bad
my
about
little
Mr. T.
Well,
I've
from
been busy
what? Well,
working on
apparently
the
one of
release of my
Mr.
book.
Roddy Piper's favourite
It's
things
not so
was
easy to
him
manage
beating up
things from
Mr.
so
T
far
legitimately
away,
was
even
one of
though
his
the internet
personal
has shortened
favourite
distances
things.
considerably.
Oh God.
Of course, the publishers
So he was
would
a Foo
insist on my
Fighter.
presence, but
Oh, yeah, he
eventually
beat
they
up that
accepted
Foo.
that it won't be before
He
the
was a
end of
Foo
September.
Fighter, just like Dave
I
Grohl.
want to arrange
How's
the
the
house purchase
YouTube
by
vid
then.
going?
There are a few excellent offers, and
I
I
think
really like
it's
the idea
pretty
of
good.
settling down in this country for good. And yes, this is also an answer to your question, which I have owed you a reply for months. I've realized it was much easier to make a decision than to put it into words.
I think this is more puzzle
I'm
game.
going to stay here, even if the
Yeah,
price is
it's
losing.
puzzling me.
I haven't even done
The
anything.
Oh,
scholarship
I
in the
like
States
how
was
he's
your own
got
decision,
the
your
Bono
little
glasses.
surprise.
He's got the Bono
If we'd
glasses,
been
that's
planning
amazing.
together, my intentions would have come to light
He
soon.
looks like Bono.
I'm sure you'll be doing well in America, and the Dawsons are enchanting people. You're a smart young woman, and I think you have every chance to begin a new life, one you've been longing for so much.
I remember
See,
when Bono
the
was
same
the butt of
opportunity has
everybody's
opened up
jokes.
for me.
That's because he
Only
was
in
an
my case,
asshole.
it's right here.
I know, but he was like the most popular person
We've
to make
traded
fun of for
places.
the longest time.
You
Well,
fell in
one of
love
the
with
things
what
I always
wanted
found
to get
funny
away
was
from.
remember when
And the same
ISIS was on
happened to me the
television
other
at
way
one
around.
Oh
point?
yeah, that was hilarious.
You'll become an American.
Well, it was the fact that
Well, I already feel
ISIS
from
were considered a serious threat. However,
God
more
bless
people
you.
were angry that U2 music had been put on their iPhone.
Oh, I hated that. Do you
And
think
someone made a comment saying, it's a sad world when the ISIS are so ineffectual at what they're trying to do that Bono is considered a bigger threat to the world than them.
That's a good point.
And then someone edited a picture of the ISIS leader, the one that was beheading that guy, with Bono's head on.
Well, one shouldn't lose their head.
I wonder if that's actually appropriate, Sam.
Oh, it's the sort of thing James Bond would do, and if it's okay for James Bond, it's okay for me.
James Bond is a fictional character.
And I'm not.
I wish. Then I can kill you.
You can't kill
That was
them.
dark.
As it happens, you're a live individual, Seb, and I have to respect you for it.
You have to respect me just for being alive.
Yes, you are a being of sentiment.
Nice to be noticed.
To this day, I still find it hard to believe FMV games exist. I mean, I always expect 3D animation.
So you always expect them to be better than they are, basically.
I just love it. ISIS was so little of a threat that Bono was considered their world worse than a terrorist.
Well, he was a man on the edge.
Well, to be fair, for a while, by the UK government standards, I was technically considered a terrorist for a while.
Welcome to the Empire
What,
of the
is it
Invisible.
for that school incident?
No, they
There's something
considered
mystical.
anyone who spoke about
No need to be
Scottish
scared.
independence
There's nothing curious.
or anything
Only that
positive
this
about
is an
Scotland was
Institute for
apparently a
Atomic
terrorist.
Research. Did you bring it?
Yes, I have it right here.
Okay,
Because
come
recently,
this way.
I mean, you can tell they don't like the whole Scottish independence
How
thing
many
at
days
all.
did you say you can stay?
As you know, I mean, at the moment they're talking more about saving the precious dying union than even
As I
Brexit at
promised,
this
we will
point.
do a quick test today. But if you want
What is this game?
to have an accurate result,
A mess? It's on Steam. What did you honestly expect?
I
Quality?
know, but I'm
Is it
trying to
Da Vinci?
understand what they were trying to create. It's like an
And you
unfunny version of The Room.
could look around downtown.
Indeed.
At least The Room was funny, even though it wasn't meant to be.
Any chance?
Here we are. My headquarters.
The game is called Miazma or the
There's
Devil's
my only
Stone.
little brother. Come over here,
But you
please.
don't know which one.
I've got to look after him
That's
while
the
Dad
title.
and Mum are in Svalbard.
Oh, Miazma or the Devil's Stone, not
name's
Miazma and the
Jonathan
Devil's
Hunt.
Stone.
Hi.
Right.
But there's no need to look after him that much.
Okay.
I thought it was
I
one of the
will
researchers.
accept that
You're
bizarre
wasting your time.
thing.
My sister still thinks I'm a top.
Because you often act
Why
like
do I
one.
expect these
Well,
games
that's
to
how we
make
are.
sense? I know they're not going to.
Make yourself at home.
I don't like people who smile too
An
much.
environment analyst office.
I didn't know you liked
Not
people.
bad. A bit dull, perhaps.
Do you want to start playing with tutorial?
What?
That's that's how it's read.
I don't know, it's just the way that Sam laughed
Tell
after
me,
you
Seb.
said that.
So Seb, did you ever watch the show Extra Credits on The Escapist?
No, I can't say I did.
Well, it was a thing. Ollie, recently they've been in the news again because, well, they were controversial because a while back because they were saying that all games should cost $90 and that
Right.
loot boxes and all that should be
Veto has a
good are
vibrant
good things.
personality.
Yeah, I can see why
Imagine
that would go
she's
down
really
badly.
Well, recently they also said playing a Nazi in a game means you'll become one in real life.
Did you say your parents?
Oh shit, I'm
are
playing
on
Hearts of
Svalbard?
Iron 4 right
Yes.
now.
This
Yeah,
time for 3
basically they
months.
decide because they don't
They
know how
study the
games work
atmosphere.
anymore because the
Well,
new staff don't
information
actually play
there.
video games.
I can
Like is the assumption I'm getting.
Indeed.
They gotta
They-
learn
Climate
what
change is something
games
everyone
are.
wants to know about.
They
It
instantly
would be
decided
foolish
that
for a
because in
scientist to
Call of
resist
Duty
such
and all these other games set in World
rewarding
War II,
challenge.
the fact that
mean
you can
I'm
play as a
dead?
Nazi might
Learning
actually
scientists
desensitize you to the
like
sense that
our
you might
father
actually
and
become
mother.
a Nazi and just accept these things, and you might be more liable to become one.
Well, the
Which
thing
is-
is, I've been playing
I've-
Metal Gear, and I'm yet to become a
Such an ice-cold
clone
adventure is
secret
not-
agent.
Yeah, that's what everyone said. Someone actually said, "Well, I have yet to become a big-boobed sorceress. I'm a 35-year-old man with a family."
Oh yeah.
And I went, "Well, I'm not a yakuza yet, and my
Are these
wife
your
certainly."
I bet you wish you were.
They used to send us postcards, but today it's enough to shoot
Yeah,
a photo and read
that's
it on
yeah,
the
that's the
wall
whole
in a minute.
thing.
You'd just
Yeah,
embrace
that-
the
Fantastic,
madness of
isn't
it all,
it?
wouldn't you?
It isn't.
Yeah.
I find the
Shame.
madness
Couldn't see
impossible
these
to
photos
accept
from posts.
sometimes.
Is that why you don't like the song Baggy Trousers?
I never heard of it.
Baggy
You promised
trousers.
some coffee on the
Baggy
phone.
trousers.
Oh, yes. there
Baggy
it is.
trousers.
Please help yourself. Would you give me some too?
Sam must know that at least.
How about you, Balaj?
No,
He
I
doesn't
don't.
want any.
Nice.
By madness. Baggy trousers.
Any sugar?
Baggy
Oh,
trousers.
yes. Forward.
I saw
remember-
them live when I was
I remember
15.
that-
Why am
I
I,
do
making
remember-
the? Why am I making
I do
the
remember
coffee?
some
I'm the
Filthy
guest
Frank
here.
songs that I kept using to torment people. One was just called "Please Stop Calling Me Gay."
Right.
It's literally like, "Please stop calling me gay. I touched a willy in high school once, but it was an honest mistake. So please stop calling me gay."
Right.
It's an entire song about a guy in denial.
Well, you mean in Egypt?
No. And there's
Sorry,
also
that was
one
a bad
talking about how he loves eating ramen noodles. I mean, it was Filthy
Ah.
Frank. What did you expect?
Ramen Keating. Oh, Filthy Frank.
Yeah, Filthy Frank was a
Oh, I
musician.
liked Filthy
But
Frank.
the thing
What
is,
happened
he
to him?
became a musician. He was a musician before he became the Filthy Frank character.
Yeah,
Then
I
about
heard that he
then a
retired
year ago,
from-
he kind of just gave up. He just doesn't want to be that character anymore, so he's gone back to doing actual music.
Oh, I liked him. He was the one who goes, "It's time to stop."
Yeah.
Right, to stop.
Apparently, I'm making coffee
What, in the game or in real life?
in the game, obviously.
Pineapple, grind coffee, to the left, to the right, and down and to the knee. Like a do, push pineapple,
yes.
grind coffee. And when calypsos are on, we'll
The
still be
coffee's gonna get cold by the time.
Either or, it's fine.
Saga, do, push pineapple, shake the tree. Saga, do, push pineapple, grind coffee. You'll find this hilarious, Sam.
When we last met,
Oh, no.
Hagar did
It's
a
alright.
job of
Yes. Everything has changed since. But I'm fine. Everything
What do you mean by everything? How about Mark?
ended. A long distance relationship is not worth a piece of curd.
That piece of curd?
Nicole, stop
That
it.
oaf dared to contradict you just once. But that was it for him.
Bollage!
That's the truth. Mark wasn't willing to leave everything behind for you, and you got offended.
Stop it! You don't know what you're talking about.
How strange. We love each other so much in common, despite the 1,000-mile distance.
But you guys, please.
Give you a change.
Changes.
What about the water?
My colleague will handle it in a minute. I've already told him.
I've been thinking a lot lately about how much
Yes.
I've missed David Bowie.
Is this water from your lot?
Oh no.
No, but I'd like to buy it. Only the owner has jacked up the price, saying there's mineral water there. Now, I don't care about the water at all, but need
No,
to know the truth
stop
of the
it.
bargain.
Okay, we'll know that soon. I almost forgot. Could you please sign this order form?
That's Mummy.
No, the paperwork must be done. There's a pen on the desk.
Alright, well, guys, I'm gonna go because dinner's just come, so.
Ah, fair enough.
Alright.
And
I wonder
obviously.
what's for dinner.
Alright, bye, guys.
I will
Bye,
see you
Sam.
soon. This is like a shit episode of The Office.
Done. You've got a lot of paperwork here in Hungary, but the contracts are half as long as in the USA.
Really? Oh, by the way, how's Yuli doing in the USA?
Not too bad, I think.
You think? You don't mean you guys too. But why?
Because a long-distance relationship is not worth a piece of curd.
Oh, I see.
Now I don't know what to do.
I don't know, what are you gonna do?
Who's she?
My girlfriend, Bonnie.
Nice girl.
She is, and I miss her a great deal. She lives in Germany.
And why don't you go after her?
Are you watching?
Don't you give him ideas?
Are you watching the
He'll go to
streams or playing a
university this
game?
fall. They're thrilled to
Both.
admit
I
him.
am
There's no alternative
watching
for a girl
what's going on
with
the
such a
screen, you know,
brilliant
saying
brain.
don't give him ideas and all that.
Look, he's
And
a
I'm playing the
grown-up
game in the
man and has his
background
own
because it
will.
got to the point
Grown
where I
up.
didn't feel
You're
like I was
kidding.
much help.
He's as sharp as a razor, but if I don't put the food in front of him, he'd simply starve to death.
Could anyone ever just ask me what I wanted to do?
No.
Or if I'm hungry at all? And
No?
yes, I will definitely go after Bonnie.
Oh, come on. Even your passport's expired, and if I don't arrange it, you'll never be able to have it done. You shall stay, and that's it. It's better not to enrage Dad. Am I right, Jonathan?
Well, I wouldn't comment on this right now. Tell me, is this really your dream job?
Absolutely. Otomki offers so many opportunities. And Peter, Mr. Lehotsky, the director, he does everything to maintain the high reputation of the Institute. Nice chap. You'll meet him. That's why I don't see why Balazs keeps whining. A summer like this would be the best practice for him.
Pestering me again? Can you get off me now? Especially in front of the guest.
Where are you going?
Let him go.
The cafe's open.
Who cares?
Overbearing sibling.
Now I'm just thinking of bears.
What?
Now I'm just thinking of bears because you said overbearing sibling.
You mean I did?
Yeah, you said it.
Now why is he talking to a guy with a walking stick?
I don't know, he looks like an elderly mentor character, so perhaps for elderly mentor purposes.
But they're being watched. Watched by whom? 3 days later.
3 days
Morning
later.
sunshine in a hotel. Just like being on vacation.
That's good. We don't have to watch him take a shower.
You don't have to.
And we're not.
Well, good. I guess we're all in agreement.
Aha, the phone. It's time to switch it on. I expect Vero's call any minute about the water analysis.
And you
If all goes well, I'll be back in Eger to have lunch in Hotel Senator.
You're expecting a phone call any second and you have your phone switched off.
See what I mean? These games are fun to poke holes in.
My notebook. I don't go an inch without it. I've jotted down a few things about Debrecen while strolling aimlessly on the streets. There are a few shopping receipts here too.
Oh, I had more coffee yesterday than on a hard working day. Somehow I didn't enjoy solitude this time. Chocolate biscuits. For Vero. I hoped to take her out, but it didn't happen. It's partly my fault. I was to meet Paolo Galuzzi, the famous Da Vinci researcher, who arrived here to open the exhibition. I fixed the meeting with him for Sunday because I thought a young woman would love to go out Saturday. And so she would. But she had another engagement where I wasn't invited. So we had to forget about sightseeing together.
Oh well. Life goes on.
But life still goes on.
Oh,
Hi. Is it about time?
Not at all. I've been expecting your call. What time should I come to see you?
Jonathan, can you come right now?
Well, yes, of course, but why is it so urgent? Is everything all right?
Something terrible happened. Bolage has disappeared.
Disappeared? What do you mean?
He's gone. God knows where. He left a farewell letter.
I see. Did he say where he was going?
No. That letter makes me so worried. It looks as if... How could he do such a thing?
easily.
Look, I've told you this before.
Oh, what have he
Legally,
done?
He's an adult, and he's free to go against your will. I'm sure he'll turn up soon.
No, he won't. This letter suggests he's been obsessed with something he may have discovered.
Why? What does he write?
Would you please read it for yourself? You're the investigator.
An investigator? Only if it's about history.
You're the only one who can help me find my brother. The police won't do anything.
Why not?
Have you spoken to them?
Yes, they won't start a search within 24 hours. All they could do is kindly advise him to go home. It's ridiculous.
What the?
That's what I'm saying. He's an adult.
I don't know. It's
Okay.
probably best if you don't
If
think
you don't
about
help
it.
me, and let that foolhardy brother of mine get involved in some foul play which might even cost his life. Just say so. If you feel just a little empathy.
Okay,
Oh, be
okay,
fair.
don't exaggerate. I'm
Oh,
on my way.
behave.
You'll tell me everything, all right?
Okay, hurry. I'm waiting for you.
See you soon.
See you.
Well, it seems I'm not going to lunch in Hotel Senator today.
I've half a mind to make her wait now, saying I don't have any empathy.
Yeah. You know, prove her right by showing no empathy.
I don't have empathy, I'm a psychopath.
Well, prove her right then, I guess.
Although I believe the accurate term is high-functioning sociopath. Who has your number?
You could be functioning higher. Ooh, that was a deuce.
I suppose it is if you said that to Sherlock.
Hey. I always thought that Sherlock was
Bad dream.
imprisoning
That box
Singer.
of biscuits wouldn't be appropriate now anyway.
Hi. Any news?
News? None. No sign of Bolage. But I don't expect any. Here's the letter. Read it for yourself.
Right.
Did you read the letter?
Not yet.
Please read it. Every word is important.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently this game doesn't allow one to read.
Just like trying to think of something that involves not reading.
Oh, well, there's the menu.
When you say that, you make me hungry.
Continue.
Proceed.
How the hell am I reading this thing?
that's a pertinent question.
There we go. Don't look for me, I'm gone and we won't be seeing each other for some time, that's for
Don't
sure.
cry for
But-
me, I'm already dead.
I wish. Don't worry, your little brother will now go on his way on his own and he needs no support. I have discovered something and if my assumption is correct, you will be proud of me one day. Proud of your famous and rich brother. I don't know how long I will be away, but will call again when time comes. Don't spoil everything by trying to find me. It's not your fault. And
I didn't know
won't-
that time did come. So what, do you rubber clock until it reaches coitus?
I don't know. But you all must accept that I don't want to live in somebody else's shadow forever. I only have one life. You'll be hearing from me very soon.
My shadows,
Barrow has a good
only
reason to be
one
worried
walks
after all.
beside me.
Well, this is self-explanatory.
What's self-explanatory?
That this was going to happen one day. Maybe he went after his girlfriend, to Germany.
I've thought of that too, but why today?
I know what upsets you. This sentence. I have discovered something, and if my suspicion is correct, you will be proud of me one day.
Yes,
This suggests that it wasn't only love that motivated him.
I've spoken to the girl. She doesn't know anything.
Or she won't tell you.
Check. Okay, this keeps a note of everything. How the hell do I switch my phone off?
I don't know.
That's done it.
Tell me about this Pani.
She's alright. I should have nothing against her. Only...
Only you're upset with her because she's out to get him, to influence him.
Maybe. But I don't think she was lying when she said she hadn't heard from him since yesterday. She said she'd call me immediately if he turns up.
Unless she's lying.
Any idea what Balaj discovered?
No. But it's true that he was busy with something in the past weeks or so. Never looked bored. No endless Skype chats like before. And he was reading a lot, went to the library often, and searched the net all day.
What topics did he search? Atomkian physics, perhaps?
No idea, I'm afraid. Unless... I happened to see an old book he took from the library. It was titled Hungarian Mineralogy, or the Science of Minerals and Ores. A really old one, from 1791.
Strange. I wonder where he's got it from.
Sometimes he borrowed books from our scientists, but he often went to some library too.
Rather odd, by all means. What did Balaj take with him?
That's just it. Hardly anything. Only his small backpack is missing.
What about his passport?
It was in the backpack, so he took it. But as I said, it's expired.
Yes, and you also said he'd been incapable of having it extended. Okay, go on.
Then I don't find some books he's recently acquired. And his cell phone's gone too. And it's switched off, of course.
Duh.
I've tried to call him at least 50 times since this morning.
Any money?
He's got a bank card. Dad transfers money to him now and then. I don't know how much was on it, because I've been paying everything since he's been here with me.
Quite a handsome amount of money could be on that card, then. When did you last see your brother? Yesterday evening?
Yes, of course. He came home late, but we didn't talk much. And he wasn't there when I got up at 6:30 in the morning. Only that letter was on his bed.
Where was he Sunday evening?
Well, who knows? He said he was going to meet a teacher in the Reformed College.
On Sunday? Oh well, why not?
He'd been out in the morning too, but didn't say where. And on Saturday we were at that party together. You remember I've told you about it?
The party you didn't want me to come with you. Don't you think you should tell me more about it now?
It's not so simple. But nothing to do with Bolage.
You tell me as much as you wish.
Okay.
Just bear in
For me
mind
and my
skipping
brother,
details.
this party was an obligation. Mr. Lehosky, the director, was invited and he'd been coaxing me to go with him. First, I refused, as I had no intention to appear there as a mistress of the elderly director. But he asked me so kindly, so I said okay, if Bolage could come too.
I guess Balazs was not fond of the idea.
He wasn't. Actually, that's why he was in such a bad mood when you arrived on Friday.
I see. So eventually he went too.
Yes, but he behaved awfully. Stood aside all along, and then tried to annoy me, saying he was drunk. Felt like slapping him around. Meanwhile, Peter took me arm in arm and introduced me to people as the pride of our institute.
I assume you didn't stay long.
But we did. It was more relaxed towards the end. Even Bolage had a talk with the host and his doctor. And there was a middle-aged woman whom he had a few words with. And I also had the chance to chat with some people.
Where was the party held?
At the mansion of a stuck-up guy called Egon Palos. It's not far from Atomki. You should have seen that luxury.
Found anything good?
Well, you tell me. You're watching this as well, right?
Yes, but I just
What do
see
you
the
know
girl
about
and,
Palos?
Never
like
met him
details about the
before.
host of the
A
party.
stout businessman smelling horribly of perfume. He's grown so fat because of selenium deficiency, so they say. Imagine, he
Stout
announced at the
businessman
party that this was his last
smelling horribly
birthday as he was
perfume.
going to die soon. It was a bizarre
Oh.
performance.
How about that?
It must have been. And what does he do?
I'm not sure. He used to live in China for a long time, made his money there. Then he moved back when his disease was discovered, because he trusted European medicine better.
But the therapy doesn't seem to help, does it?
For some time now, he's turned to alternative medicine. His physician, some Droshkovich or something, stays there with him and gives him treatment every day. Could be just rumour, of course.
How are you getting along with the director of Otomki?
With Peter? Well, I really don't know.
Complicated?
Oh, no. There's nothing between us. He's over 60.
This doesn't mean a thing. Apparently, he's fond of you.
Yes, I do feel it. But I just look up to him, that's all.
And encourage him.
I don't mean to. He's like an uncle who takes care of me, and this is how I behave.
Yes, and not as a physicist of the Institute. Did Balazs get along well with your colleagues?
Certainly. Everyone liked him, although he'd been hanging around them a lot. Sometimes they call him Brainiac Boy, as Balazs likes to be clever without being asked. But everyone knows he's got superb brains. He loves exploring and discovering things.
It might be the case now.
Wise
Maybe I
man
don't
once said,
know him
"Never
well
be
enough,
sorry to
though.
be the smartest
You
guy
should
in
ask
the
those
room."
people he knew well in the Institute.
I don't know, unless he'd
Something.
actually done
Good
something
idea.
wrong. In that
But it
case,
won't be so
I was
easy.
his reasons to
It will be.
apologise.
Seb, I
I'm
just
afraid I
made
don't
a
have the time to show you
Mysterio
around,
reference.
but I've already sent out a circular mail to let them know about your visit.
Oh, that was a
They're
good
ready
movie.
to
That
assist.
was such a good movie.
A remarkable providence. But where do I...
Here.
So, yeah,
this
you
is a
raised
map
it
of
as
the
well. You thought it was
Institute
good.
With laboratories. And if you get stuck,
Well,
I'm always here to help.
that's... I'll take it back as
alright.
a positive grunt.
Yes, I did enjoy it. I was yawning at the time.
Excuse me for being a bit down to
yeah, I
earth,
couldn't tell if you
but
were
is there
bored
any
or
news
not.
about the water sample?
Oops, I almost forgot about it. The quick test didn't lead to a clear
Well,
result,
let's see
so
if
they're trying
anyone else
another
will be
method
willing
now.
to join the
It'll
Skype.
be ready today, so they promised.
Well, why not?
Thank you. And don't worry, your brother will
I can
be
think of
found.
reasons why not,
This
but
is what I can promise.
actually I can't. It seems like a pretty nice thing to do.
You know, I think I can make a Clint Eastwood reference there. There's got to be 1,000 reasons why I don't invite anyone else to the Skype chat. Right now, I can't think of any.
It would be a good idea to check where Balaj has been browsing recently.
Like Cleve.
But Vero said
I
Balaj
almost
was
said
in the habit of
Cleve
deleting his
Eastwood
browsing
then.
history. Especially now, I
I was
suppose.
wondering what Cleve Eastwood was.
I remember once he says, "There's got to be 100 reasons why I don't blow you away." Right now, I can't think of any.
25 problems, but a bit
I
chain
wonder
one.
if this girl knows something about Balaj.
Wait, that's not how the song goes.
Personally, though, I thought the one-liner I quite liked was him saying, "You a bounty hunter? Man's got to do something for a living these days."
I like how your Clint Eastwood impression is similar to your Homer Simpson impression.
I didn't get to finish it then. Thanks for being rude.
Sorry.
And he finishes, and he follows that up with, "Dying ain't much of a living, boy." This is where he was lost. Maybe I'll interrogate, maybe the turtle's there, maybe he'll have the answer.
Cowabunga.
Get me every turtle from inside that pond. One of them is lying.
Morning.
Morning.
Are you the American?
You mean me? I'm Jonathan Hunt.
Joseph Vincey. I'm the caretaker. And the night guard. In shifts, you know.
Glad to meet you. Mr. Vincey, have you seen Balaj lately? You know, the younger brother of Vero who moved in here for a few weeks.
I have. I've seen him often, here and there.
What'd you say your favourite
but
video
not
game
today.
of all time is?
Understandable. He's disappeared.
What the
Star
hell
Wars
you
Old
say?
Republic.
Was he kidnapped
hence
or
the
what?
username.
We don't know. This is why I ask if anyone has
Wouldn't
seen
have
him these
chosen it if
days.
it wasn't the case.
Well, I did see him, but I
Good pertinent point there.
can't say when. He'd been stuck on those turtles, you know. They're said to be immortal. Did you know that?
What do you mean, immortal?
There's a legend here that Professor Zalai gave them some panacea. Fancy that.
I guess they only mean that turtles have a long life. Is it you who takes care of them?
Yeah, but I got to, you know. I don't really like them, though, but they recognize me.
What about you? What's your favourite game of all time?
Oh, do you know what? Now we're talking about it, it's really difficult to pick one. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, if I wasn't thinking about it, I could probably pick one, but...
Well, think about it then.
Yeah, I am. Just trying to think of really good video games.
Don't think of a really good video game. Think of one which
Think of the
you
best.
quite like.
Okay,
I mean, a lot of
suppose for longevity's purpose, I would say Empire at War, because it's lasted us so well.
You don't have to say a Star Wars game.
Well, no, I genuinely think it's a very good game, because,
Dr.
you know...
Peter Lehotsky, director. He and Vero seem to be on good terms. Development of electronic circuits between 1955 and 1970.
Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
Professor Sándor Szalai, the founder of Atomki, was a legendary figure of Hungarian physics. A collection of relics from the life of Professor Szalai.
Exactly.
Don't!
Excellent. Exactly.
Did you hear that? That excellent was...
It's peculiar to see past and future side by side like this. Socrates. I wonder if his spirit is present in this room.
The Simpsons has got to be the greatest TV show ever made.
Yeah, not a lot of people would say that now, but then again, people probably can't...
I'm thinking of on the whole, you know,
Then again, people can't really remember when, oh, what was it? Was it Aerosmith? When Aerosmith played for Mr. Burns' birthday. I think they liked it.
No, it was the Ramones that played for his birthday. Have the Rolling Stones killed. But sir, that wasn't... Do as I say! That was one of my favourite jokes.
One of my favourite ones was, look at that pig stuffing his face with donuts on my time. That's it. Keep eating. Little do you know you're drawing
Early
ever closer to the
replicas,
poison donut. There is a poison one, isn't there? No, sir. I discussed it with our lawyers. They consider it murder. Damn their oily hides! This, well, as we all know, to have a successful baseball club, you need teamwork. And some hot dog admissions officer play by his own rules.
Chaotic instruments.
Sir, what are you doing?
The lab itself.
I'm giving you the beating of your life.
Look, stop that. If you wanted him that badly, why don't you just say so?
Brown is essentially living in the past after all.
Smithers dismember the corpse and send his widow a corsage.
Good morning.
Ah, good morning. You must be Jonathan Hunt.
And you are Mr. Brown, if I'm not mistaken.
Dr. Ernu Brown, at your service.
What is it good
Mr.
for?
Brown,
Video games.
What can you tell me about Balazs Gal, Vero's brother? When did you last see him?
I've heard he's disappeared. How awful. I really don't understand. I spoke to the boy on Friday. He seemed quite as usual. He stormed into my lab and started to browse through my bookshelf. Sometimes he would very humbly ask to borrow some books, you know. I'm pleased to lend to anybody. They just have to enter it in my notebook.
What was he interested in?
Some of the books here are technical manuals, but what I collect mostly is literature on archaeology. A passion of mine, you know. And there's more, like popular science. I love it.
Do you remember what books Balazs has taken?
Oh, no need to remember. It's in the notebook.
Would you believe that there is actually some franchise in which dwarves actually give up mining for diamonds for archaeology?
That sounds quite good, actually, because if you think about it, you know, that is like the equivalent.
Yes, they do it in World of Warcraft.
Mr. Brown, what do you think of Balazs?
Just call me Ernu, will you? And I'll call you Jonathan, if you don't mind.
I don't want
Not
to be
at all,
called Jonathan.
So, could you describe the boy
Don't
for
be
me?
then.
A wonderful
Jonathan.
child, very smart. Some people call him Brainiac Boy, and he's so cheerful. Has a desire for knowledge. He'll achieve great things, like his parents.
Did you see him often?
Not really. Sometimes he came to the lab, not only for books. He asked me lots of questions about our work, but otherwise we rarely came across each other. Just waved at each other in the courtyard.
At last, more innocent souls to add to my ever-growing army of the undead. Sir, you left the mic on. Oh, son of a...
Your Smithers impression is really good as well.
Yes. I practiced those for a while. Pleasant dreams, Mr. Jones.
What do you think of Vero?
Oh, she's a lovely but sharp-tongued young lady. Don't you think so, Jonathan? Quick-witted and talks as quickly. Occasionally she might say things that sound a bit offensive, but she doesn't mean it. Her intentions are noble. Do you know if she's married?
No, she isn't.
For the time being, I assume.
I'm sure it's just a coincidence you just asked me that.
You have an incredible collection of books.
Never mistake
Great,
coincidence for
isn't it?
fate.
I live in a tiny apartment where there's
That
no
was a
room
quote
for my
from
library.
Lost. That was a good
But
shot.
Mr. Leotsky very kindly allowed me to keep them here.
I enjoyed it.
I'm so grateful to
Very
him.
much on your own
This
there.
machine is really impressive.
Well, other
Looks
people
like an
enjoyed it. You
electronic
may
forest.
not have, but other
Do you
people
want me to
quite
explain
enjoyed
how
it.
it works?
It was a very
Listen.
popular show.
Have you heard of plasma, the fourth fundamental state of matter?
Oh, yes, I think so. Aren't the sun and the stars made of plasma?
Absolutely. Plasma is a state of material when it's no longer composed of atoms or molecules, but of the parts of the atoms, electrons and ions. We create plasma with this instrument here, working with strong magnets and
I
microwaves.
think I may have heard
In other
something about this
words,
on Death
this
Battle.
apparatus is some kind of
What
microwave
battle?
oven. Can you
Death
heat
Battle.
something with it?
Yes, and by heating,
You got the
we can
joke,
convert almost any material
No.
to plasma state.
You know,
We
like
usually
you
work
said
with noble gases
something
and
better
study
when I
the
said
plasma
death
with a wide
battle,
range
you know,
of
like I couldn't
instruments.
hear what you were saying,
The
death.
plasmas are really beautiful. Our equipment owns 6 magnets. Therefore, the plasmas we create look like gorgeous 6-branched stars.
Great. I think I already know more about your forest. Thanks, Ernu.
My pleasure. I hope I didn't bore you, Jonathan.
No more than to be
The
expected.
antique world. A not so antique globe. All that glitters is not
I like
gold.
how he looks like a pervy Dr. Phil.
Where have I heard Dr. Phil from?
You know, he was the guy who used to be on Oprah Winfrey.
What?
I think he used to be on Oprah Winfrey.
What's that?
It's a popular American talk show. It's more like it's like a more tasteful and dignified version of Jeremy Kyle.
No wonder I don't know it.
But I think the thing is, she actually does try and help people, and she tries to do a good job. You know.
Well, that's ominous.
Like in a submarine, I swear. Yes, this guy must be Dr. Laszlo Kekeshi.
Good morning.
Good morning. What can I do for you?
Are you Dr. Kekeshi?
In the flesh. And who are you?
Name's Jonathan Hunt. Have you received Miss Gall's letter?
I have no time for reading letters, Mr. Hunt. I'm on the clock. And when it's work time, I only have time for work. But tell me, what was in that letter?
Miss Gall's younger brother disappeared this morning.
Disappeared? You mean vanished under a spell?
I rather think he's just run off. He left a farewell letter, but his sister is terribly worried. She asked me to find him.
Asked you? Why? Are you a detective?
No, but I promised to help her. So she wrote to her colleagues asking them to assist with the investigation and answer my questions.
Well then, if that's the case, work time is suspended. Interrogation time starts. But please keep it short.
I'll ask the questions around here. Seb, have you invited anyone else to the chat?
Well, you literally just asked the questions.
What a dangerous place this
I will
must be.
try.
You can only look through a
Let's
thick
see.
glass.
How do I add people? Okay, Michael
I don't even try
Blower,
to explain that sticker.
Johnson,
There's
Shipway.
nothing to explain. It's a sticker of Popeye. Anyone can see that.
I like how there's a sticker of Popeye in the game. That's one thing I will give in its favour.
When did you last see
What, you
Balaj?
think that's the only
He
thing
was
that's
here
good about
last
this
week.
game?
And came to
No,
my
it's
house
one
yesterday
thing
to
that's
return a
off the
book
top of
I
my
had
head.
lent
There's
him.
probably a lot of
So
good
you
things
lent
about
him
the
a
game,
book?
but
May I
it's
ask
just the
what book it
thing that
was?
A book on
I
astronomy.
think of.
What else? I only get visitors who want to know about the work or about the world of galaxies.
So he was interested in the world of galaxies.
Meteorites, to be precise.
That's curious. I don't think his sister knew about this.
He's a genuine teenager, you see. You are one too.
he looks
Young men
like.
have their secrets to hide.
Did he tell you about any secret of his?
Not much.
I like how
But
his
when
face
he heard
looks slightly
astronomy was my hobby,
funny then.
he asked about meteorites. But I'm not a good talker, you see, so I gave him books on asteroids, comets, and so on.
I see. Do you have any idea why he was interested in all these?
No idea. I couldn't even tell you why I myself was interested in it.
Tell me, Seb,
Yeah.
if a Terminator came after you, what would be the first thing you'd go
Okay.
for? A shotgun, an RPG,
The gonads. Sorry, carry on.
a shotgun, an RPG, or the controls for a magnet which you can use to put it into a car compactor.
Is the RPG Final Fantasy?
No, it is a rocket-propelled grenade.
Oh, well, in that case, I'd probably go for
Mr.
the magnet.
Kakashi, what are your
Wait, are they
impressions
magnet
about Vero?
proof?
Pretty little chick.
No.
The apple of the
They're
director's eye.
titanium,
Respectful
I
girl
believe.
and a good expert. Her father and mother have a scientific reputation, so I assume the children have good brains too. Balazs is also a bright kid.
You haven't taken advantage of Mr. Leotsky's permission to decorate your workplace.
No, I haven't. I only had this blue mood lighting installed. It's so celestial, if you know what I mean.
Can you tell me about the radiochemistry lab?
Well, I don't have much
Oh,
time.
I don't think anyone else
but if you want
joins
a
as a
short
result
brief,
of that, but
we are
they know it's
chemists
on.
Who work with radioactive material.
Oh, I'm getting a phone
You can
call.
see the sign on
I'd
that
better
door,
answer
warning
this.
about
I will be
radiation
back
hazard.
soon.
Let's say a material is irradiated by the cyclotron. Some oxygen, for example. The oxygen is transmuted to radioactive fluorine. Then the radiochemist attaches this fluorine to a sugar
I don't know how he
molecule.
expects to come back.
This is needed for the PET diagnostics, a nuclear medical imaging technology to detect this radioactive sugar in the body. But from this point, it's not my business. So to put it simply, we work with radioactive material here. This is why we need special protective measures. But if you have a test tube of non-radioactive material, of course we could investigate that too in our standard lab.
I see. At least I think I do. Thank you, Mr. Kakashi.
What are you hiding?
Let's not bother her. I've got other things to do. Wow. I wouldn't be surprised to meet Captain Spock here.
Well, picture of him up there.
A bizarre structure. And that rabbit over there. An ageless guy. Or do his glasses make this impression?
Hi, I'm looking for Dr. Imre Biberosh.
Jonathan Hunt? Hi. Welcome aboard.
I'd like to ask a few questions. I guess you know what happened.
I know. And my processors don't comprehend. Balazs is not like that, but go ahead, ask away.
Have you seen Balazs lately?
No, not for some time. I'm glad he returned my DVDs before the Star Trek feature films. Not that I don't have more copies of them in a box set.
Did he watch them?
No. Actually, it was me who insisted on it.
Why? Every episode's
What's
on
the matter?
Netflix.
Actually, I saw the guy on Friday through the window, chatting with a mysterious old man.
Mysterious?
At least I've never seen him before. He had a hat on, so I couldn't see his face.
An old man with a hat on Friday.
So it was you.
Balazs seems to know the fellow. Must have been over 70. And he talks somehow secretively. I didn't hear a word, though.
Thanks for telling me this.
Sorry about that, minor malfunction.
Do you know Balazs Gal well?
Not too well. At the beginning, early summer, he was rather clumsy. Then his girlfriend came along. They kept asking lots of questions, sometimes too many. She left a month ago.
Didn't he ask unusual questions?
Did. He'd been interested in the achievements of 18th, 19th century Hungarian physics.
Strange, asking you about this. I've thought you were a man of the space age.
Oh, maybe you don't know. I graduated as a historian, specialized in modern era. But later I switched to nuclear physics, and now I control the cyclotron spaceship in the Atomki Galaxy.
Extraordinary. So, what strange question did he ask?
I told him about great people like István Hatvany, who was a doctor, teacher, priest, and physicist. A polyhistor, as we call it. He was a resident here at the Debrecen. I suggested Balázs to look it up in the library of the Reformed College.
Most interesting. Thanks for the info.
Okay, I don't know why it's doing that, why it's only coming up in this particular format. I suppose there's not much point in the full screen then.
I guess you have some impression of Vettel.
Well, yes. I was crazy about her.
Really? Does she know?
No, and please don't tell her or I set the Klingons on you.
Oh
I
no!
figured out how to approach her. My feelings were gone.
Petard.
Gone.
But still, that girl is very special to me.
Can you tell me about this cyclotron?
With pleasure. No military secrets, of course.
Military secrets?
One never knows. But I like the look of you. You seem very trustworthy. The cyclotron is a particle accelerator instrument. This here is the control system. We accelerate the particles and they gain energy by this. The particles must be charged positive ions. They're created from hydrogen or helium in the cyclotron's ion source. We separate the electrons from the nucleus. What remains is, in fact, a proton, which can be used for acceleration. Do you follow?
I'm still a bit confused about the acceleration.
Okay. Imagine a round metal cookie can. Suppose you cut it in halves and pull them aside a bit, leaving a narrow gap between the two D-shaped parts. Think about it as a model. Now, when the proton passes through the gap, its speed increases. Inside the can, the path of the particle bends and continues in circles of increasing radius, eventually moving on a spiral path from the inside outwards. Then it is directed into the target object, and bang!
Can you see or hear it?
No, and of course you cannot enter while the engines are running.
And what's that Stargate over there? Is that a bunny to be teleported?
Are you kidding? It's a very smart detector. The positron emission tomography, the PET. Its nickname is PET, P-E-T. We use it to examine small pets after treating them with a bit of radioactive sugar.
I'm overwhelmed.
I'd love to show it to you in action. You should see the nuclear jet start.
Thank you. No. For one thing, it's nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
Although you're a historian, this place is packed with high-tech equipment.
Well, somehow my devotion for history faded over time. Instead, I began to develop an interest for the present and the future. After a few years, I took a new course in natural sciences. In short, this is how I landed on board of this spaceship here as Dr. Biberosh.
Is that Darth Vader himself? I'm fascinated.
Of course it's not Darth Vader himself. How does he have the code?
Extraordinary place, like in a Cold War spy movie. A frail figure and a nice face. She's far from the physicist stereotype.
People don't seem to like
Good morning, madam.
stereotypes these days.
My name is Hunt.
Jonathan Hunt. My name is Dr. Tomoro Shafran, but please call me Tomoro. Just not Tommy, okay?
With pleasure.
I knew you were coming here. Saw you arriving. Vero has good taste.
What? Oh no, I just came about a water sample.
I know. And now it's about Volage. Please, feel free to ask me anything.
Even a pocket calculator is anachronistic in this environment.
I believe there's one there.
I'd readily believe this picture is transmitted from Mir, the Russian space station.
Probably is.
I would expect to hear the news from August 1965.
I'd like to know when you last met Vero's brother.
On Sunday.
Yesterday. Where?
We didn't actually meet. I just saw him downtown. I guess he didn't notice me.
When was this?
Late afternoon. But he didn't disappear yesterday, did he?
No, not yesterday.
Are you sure?
What do you think of Volage?
Well, I think he's not the type who just runs off suddenly. It must be some joke, I guess. Vero gets you to do the job, then he'll turn up and laugh at the hassle.
I admit it has occurred to me too.
Well, Volage is a bit strange. Yet, I tend to say I like him. Better than most of the guys of his age.
Did you see him often?
Not really. Sometimes he comes to ask questions.
What kind of questions? About the Vander or Vander?
The Van de Graaff accelerator? No. He usually asks me about language problems.
Asks you about language problems?
Because I speak many languages. That is, I can understand many languages, but hardly speak any of them.
Wow, that's interesting.
It was just my imagination, or does she talk like some kind of AI?
How come you know so many languages?
When I was a child, my only entertainment was reading books and learning. I was fascinated by the variety of languages. I wanted to understand all the books my parents had. Even today, this is a passion of mine.
What a story. And how many languages are you familiar with?
Well, I can read and write in about 15 to 20 languages. Many of the Western languages, and some dead languages too, like Latin or ancient Greek. Then some Hindi, Mandarin, Hebrew, Arabic, Swahili, Japanese, and Korean. But I learned them merely from books.
Amazing.
Currently, I'm trying to improve my Russian, which I didn't learn in school, unlike many people here.
Incredible. You must be a living dictionary.
vacuum system. To me, it might as well be the control panel of a classification yard.
Maybe it is.
What do you think about Vero?
She's cool. Men notice her. And she's smart. Born in a family where life is about natural science.
Do you two speak often?
Yes, every day. We usually have coffee together, gossip a bit, but nothing too serious, of course.
I can imagine. I know nothing about the place you call the microprobe. What do you do here?
In fact, we work with two instruments connected to each other. What you can see here is the Van de Graaff particle accelerator, which speeds up particles, such as protons. Then these particle beams are directed onto the target we want to examine. The particles in the beam and those of the target collide, and some of them scatter. We can detect these particles and capture data, which helps determine the composition of the target object.
And the other one?
The second instrument is the microprobe. It can focus the proton beam to a tiny area. This allows us to examine the composition of the target object on micrometer scale.
This means if you put an object in there, you can scan it, just like an X-ray.
Not exactly. It only lets you capture information about the surface, or just below the surface. But it is a perfect method for studying the composition of archaeological findings, for example.
This control room is rather a strange place.
You mean not as frilly as the other labs? I think it suits my personality.
Possibly.
It does, doesn't it?
Oh, you think this craziness is all about decoration? It isn't, I tell you. Come back if you feel bored, or if you need a translator.
Thank you. I will.
That's interesting.
A replica of an Italian-made map of 18th to 19th century Hungary.
I knew I was missing something in here.
At the edge of two worlds.
Adenu, I think something's wrong in this notebook.
How come? What is it, Jonathan?
It says that Bolage had taken books like Winnie the Pooh, Tales of Mother Goose, Peter and Wendy. These don't seem like archaeological works to me.
Oh, that little rascal. He played tricks on me. I don't always check that notebook, you know? But anyhow, I have no reason to be cross with him. He had always returned everything.
I just wonder what the boy wanted to conceal.
Come on. He's only a child. Just plays jokes, that's all.
I hope that's all.
What a contrast. A state-of-the-art research station in a palm house?
Stranger things have
Poor
happened.
souls. I wonder how much they understand of what's going on around them. Does the lady belong to the equipment or to the jungle?
Good morning, madam. My name is Jonathan Hunt. I think Vero has...
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Hunt. Dr. Zoltmally. Emma to my parrots only.
I'd like to ask a few questions about Balaj.
Yes, I've heard. I must admit I don't understand the situation, but I'm glad to help if I can.
Madam, when did you last see Balaj?
Let me think. Last week, maybe on Wednesday, he helped me relocate the pandanus. It's hazardous.
Ah, is it a corrosive compound?
No, it's the screw palm. The leaves can cut your hand.
What do you think of Balaj?
He's very young. Tends to overdo things, but he absorbs information like a sea sponge.
Did you see a lot of him?
I think he didn't like me at first. Or my parrots. But he was excited about age determination. So we became friends soon.
So he was eager about the past?
Especially about radiocarbon dating, which we do here. Nature tells us about the past, or even about artifacts of unknown origin.
Well, I'm personally interested in this too.
As you should be. I know you wrote a book on antique trade. I'm going to read it.
Oh, that's kind. What do you think of Vero?
Vera? She's a typical woman of our age. I wouldn't recommend her to you as a wife.
Well, it hasn't come to my mind.
Very well. In brief, as a person, she apparently performs better than as a professional. But she hasn't been here for long, so there's not much I can help you with.
On the contrary, you've helped a lot. Given my original profession, I have some understanding about radiocarbon dating, but I'd be grateful if you could explain how it works exactly.
I'll try to keep it simple. In nature, carbon mostly exists as carbon-12, but there's also carbon-14, a carbon isotope which is constantly created in the upper stratosphere as a result of cosmic rays. It builds in living organisms, like plants and animals. But carbon-14 atoms are radioactive, and as such, they decay over time. Their half-life is about 6,000 years. This means the quantity of these atoms falls by half in every 6,000 years. When a living being dies, it stops acquiring carbon-14, but the decay continues, and the proportion of carbon-14 decreases. If we measure this proportion accurately in case of an archaeological find, we can tell its age.
And are there no limits? Can you determine the age of any object?
Not quite. We can go back up to about 40,000 years. Our results are most accurate when the object is a few thousand years old. And don't forget, we are talking about things that once used to be living organisms.
I see. So, no dinosaurs. They lived millions of years ago.
Correct. Your knowledge is still a bit superficial, Mr. Hunt. But you're improving.
Thank you. I think.
This lab is so pleasant. Are all these plants and animals part of your research?
My plants and animals keep me alive in this well-equipped, state-of-the-art lab. My motto is back to nature.
Are you a naturist?
By no means. No need to go back to the tree to make your environment more livable. I no longer dive, but still love hiking and sailing with friends.
Doesn't appear to be anything else here.
Without these gloomy-looking machines, I'd feel like I was in a preschool. Looks like some infernal machine. A smiling face. He doesn't look devilish at all.
Good morning. My name is Jonathan Hunt.
Hey, Jonathan. Nice to meet you. Ula Varesh. Saw you on television.
Did you?
So glad you came here. I mean, not really glad, as it's so sad Balaj has run away. How reckless!
Can I ask you some questions?
Well, of course, my friend. Go ahead.
When did you last see Balaj?
Wow, I feel being part of a crime movie. Well, I think it was Thursday or Friday. End of last week. No, it wasn't the weekend, as I'm with my family then. I've got 3 sons, my friend, and a daughter.
That's nice. So on Thursday or Friday, where and when?
I ran into him in the afternoon. I think he was coming from the cafeteria. And yes, that charming sister of his was with him. They weren't in a good mood, though.
I wonder why.
What is he like, this Balazs?
Haven't you met? Well, handsome guy, intelligent face, kind of dark hair, and...
We did. I want to know what you think about him.
He's a nice guy. Open-minded, friendly, polite, doesn't really understand jokes, though. You know, we joke a great deal with my kids, and...
Yes. Have you noticed any change in his behavior lately?
Whose behavior? Balazs. Maybe he came here less frequently. Carrying a book all the time. He was learning, maybe. Don't you think so?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
What do you think about Vero?
Oh, you've got to be kidding. I have a wife and children.
That's not what I mean. What's your opinion about her as a person?
A frightfully agile, vigorous girl. Or from a professional point of view, you mean? Well, everyone has to be highly skilled to get a job in this institute.
I see. How does she get along with others?
I believe everyone likes her. She's a bit too quick and straightforward, but I don't mind. I can only say positive things, like the way she takes care of her younger brother. She'll make a good mother, at least if she learns a bit more about self-sacrifice.
Could you tell me something about this lab?
Oh, sure thing! I've already explained it to my boys, and they understand everything. They were so cute listening to my story.
And the lab?
Oh, of course. Now, this is the Materials Science Laboratory. With all this gleaming equipment, we can identify the chemical composition of an object in a non-destructive way, or we can define what layers these chemical elements form in a sample, even if the layers are measured on a nanometer scale. However, for this, we have to destruct the sample a bit.
You mean you could tell how many and what kind of paint layers are there on a Da Vinci painting?
I'm afraid not, as my instrument works with small-size samples only.
Which means you'd need to damage the painting? Otherwise, you could investigate the composition, but not the layers. Is that right?
Exactly!
You have a cozy workplace.
Oh, yes, thank you. Our director, Mr. Lahotsky, has been very liberal about this. For me, my family means everything. I gain energy from these things to focus on my work.
Do you have a hobby or a passion?
Passion? My family is my passion. With 4 children, you have little chance to have hobbies. You'll see it for yourself. Hurry up, my friend. Having children is the best thing in the world.
I will. Certainly. Where am I? Is this a data center or a recording studio?
Good question.
Is this a Gibson? I'm not an expert. Is this thing a nuclear instrument too? Is he a scientist too? I wonder.
Well, if he calls himself a doctor...
Hello, I'm Jonathan Hunt.
Hello. So you're the guy who's after Brainiac Boy, aren't you? I'm Changor Fekete.
Doctor, I assume.
Nope. I'm only a petty system administrator. Or, if you like, the doctor of the doctor's computer up there. What can I do for you?
You could tell me when you last saw Balazs, what he was doing, these kinds of things.
Snooping, that's what he was doing, I tell you. He knew everyone, talked to everyone, stuck his nose in everything. If you ask me, he'd been up to something.
Up to something?
In the last 2 weeks, he'd been in a hustle. We never had any trouble with each other, though, just some of us found this a bit strange.
Nobody has complained about him so far.
Sure. Any talking about him could easily get to the ears of the director. That's because of Vera. You know, there's been some rumor recently. Otherwise, she's a hot babe, but I don't have a thing about those who make a pass at the boss, if you know what I mean. I don't mind telling you if you want the truth.
I have first-hand information that the supposed liaison between the director and the girl is unfounded.
Well, don't bet on that.
What an amazing place.
This is my cave with the supercomputer. Not super-sized, but super fast. It's because many desktop computers are connected in a smart way. They generate a lot of heat. We need strong cooling. I enjoy this low temperature. Of course, the fans are loud, but I use my headsets.
And you just oversee things here?
Yeah. It's not too stressful unless we hit a snag. But that seldom happens, so it's rather a kind of vacation.
Rather a kind of making music, isn't it?
Spot on. This is why I like Lehetsky. I only asked once, and he'd let me bring in my music stuff. I've written some 50 songs here.
50 songs? That's enough for 2 albums.
You must be joking. Who buys CDs today? Chongor, the system administrator, earns the money. The musician can only spend it.
Hi, it's me, Vero.
Hi. I know. I've just finished with the labs. Nothing too helpful.
There's still a chance. I spoke to Peter, you know, the director. He's waiting.
For what?
For you. He wants to meet you.
Well, why not? Should I question him too?
Maybe you can get something useful out of him.
Shall we go right now?
You go alone. I've already told him a lot about you.
Aren't you going to introduce me? Anyway, let's do it this way. I guess I'll find his office.
It's in the main building, first floor on the right.
Thanks.
One more thing. Now I remember what Bolage said that afternoon. He said this. I'm going to meet that teacher woman I talked to yesterday. And then he said he was going to the Reformed College. What do you think?
Could be a lead.
Except we don't know who she is.
But we do. Listen, you said he talked with a middle-aged woman. That could be her.
You may be right. But still, I haven't got the slightest idea who she was.
That may be so, but someone was there at the party who might know. I'm just going to visit him. Bye for now.
Bye.
Here's the deck of the Otomki ship. I wonder what the captain's like. The all-seeing eye of Professor Shandor Soloi. Pictures from the history of Otomki. Sometimes even the director, Mr. Peter Lehetsky, puts on a lab coat. A holographic trinket with particles. Lovely. An old-fashioned cell phone. The director doesn't seem a geek. Beautiful weather. We are having a nice summer this year.
So it would seem.
The Institute's deed of foundation.
I'd still appreciate if it would cool down a blot.
Good morning. Jonathan Hunt.
Ah, Mr. Hunt. Peter Lehetsky. How do you do?
How do you do? It was beyond my hopes to be able to see a nuclear research institute on the inside. I'm delighted to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. In this case, just call me Peter. I'm the older, if you don't mind.
I'm honored. Nice to meet you, Peter.
Take a seat, please.
Immaculate three-piece business suit, but no necktie. Interesting.
Is it true your mother tongue is Hungarian?
Basically, yes. My mother was Hungarian, and she spoke to me in her language. My father was American, but he died early, so I learned to speak English from my grandfather. He was the son of a famous globetrotter and explorer, Samuel Hunt.
What an exciting ancestry. A mixture of cultures. Vera told me you wished to settle down in the country, and this is why you wanted to see her.
Yes, I'm considering buying land in Eger.
I know. And I've been informed about the result of the water analysis. I'm sorry to disappoint you, but your sample is far from mineral water quality.
Thank you. No need to be sorry. I had no intention of going into the mineral water business. It's even better, as the owner should lower the price now.
I see. Glad to hear this.
You might have heard that Bolage disappeared.
Oh yes. Vera, the poor little one, has just come to me crying. I was going to mobilize my contacts immediately. I have a fairly wide network of connections, you know. But she told me she'd already asked you to be on the case.
Oh, well, no problem. I'd be pleased to free Vera of her commitment. Probably connections could work better in this case than a do-it-yourself detective, such as an investigative journalist from the New York Times.
You work for the New York Times? Why, there's no reason to back out of the arrangement. Vera told me you're very efficient. Please go ahead. I hereby approve the assignment. You are free to go anywhere on Atomki's premises and ask questions to anyone. Just keep it short, please. You understand.
Not quite, but there should be no complaints.
I was doing that anyway.
Thank you for the opportunity. And once you've allowed me, would you please answer a few questions yourself?
But of course. At your service.
You know Balaj, I assume. What do you think of him?
Well, I think the boy doesn't respect his sister the way he should. Yet she's done everything for him while their parents are absent. I believe he's hiding because of feeling guilty of ungratefulness. What do you think?
I think there's no question about your scientific and management achievements, but your approach lacks some empathy.
You think so?
Yes, but this is not a problem in your position. And of course, I didn't mean to be offensive.
No, I understand what you say. And coming back to this investigation of ours, I did see Bolage Sunday afternoon.
Oh my. And where was this?
It was about 5:20 when we passed by each other downtown. He was just coming from the college.
Did you speak?
I said hello, but he didn't seem to take notice. Looked quite preoccupied and just walked on.
In that case, I should extend the investigation to places outside Otomki as well. Peter, a colleague of yours saw Bolage on Friday in Otomki talking to an old man in the courtyard. It was near the pond where the turtles live. The man was wearing a hat and he had a walking stick. Do you have an idea who he might be?
I think so. The description fits old Karol Voniec, our retired caretaker. He was the jack of all trades at the time of Shandor Soloi. He comes here now and then, eats in the cafeteria, sits in the garden, chats with people.
So he might have told Bolage a few old stories?
He might have, yes. The old chap is absolutely harmless, but I can give you his address. Talk to him.
Yes, please. I'll call on him.
Here you are. It's not far from Atomki.
I'll find it. Thank you.
The address of the former caretaker, Karol Voniec.
Useful information later on.
Vero mentioned something that could be important.
How interesting. I wonder why she hasn't told me.
At that party on Saturday, Bolage was seen chatting with a middle-aged lady, likely to be a teacher. She stayed late too. Do you remember who she was?
I only saw that Vera had to warn him about his behavior several times. But I hardly remember who he talked to.
Let's try this way. Was there a woman at the party who happens to be a teacher?
Well, This might be easier. Mind you, it isn't a common thing nowadays to invite white-collar people of lower position. Ah, but I've got it. It must have been Mrs. Pulfy, the widow of the late Professor Geza Pulfy. Her husband was a highly respected scholar, of the old-fashioned type. Headed a university department. Very reputable person, although never strived for positions.
Yes, there are people like this.
His widow is a teacher indeed. Out of respect for Geza, his former friends and colleagues keep in touch with her. They say she's not too well off, but too shy to ask for help.
Does she teach in the Reformed College?
No. As far as I know, she teaches history in a grammar school.
Then what was she doing at the college on Sunday, where she met Balazs? Then what did the lady do in the college on Sunday where Balazs met her, if it was her at all? I've seen a few of your labs, and I have to admit, I'm amazed. All of them are furnished with a personal touch. I've heard this was your innovation. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. It's a long story, you know. A foreign delegation visited us one day, and their wives came with them. After the official program, we had an informal dinner where some of our researchers were also present.
I guess you chose them carefully.
Naturally. They told good stories. Everyone had an excellent time. The wives were especially delighted because they thought about these guys as some machine parts in lab coats. And suddenly, I realized we'd been hiding something that ought to be shown. So the next day I told my staff that I'd allow everyone to do their work in a home-like environment, as long as the job is done. Strictly subject to individual approval, of course.
This was received well, I guess.
No, they thought me crazy. It took some time for them to understand, but now the results speak for themselves.
I say hats off. A brave and enlightened solution.
What are you looking up at me for? Okay, what's next? Well, I proceed to that address, but for the time being, as I'm fairly certain we're reaching the 2-hour mark, if we haven't passed it already, that, and I'm also getting a little tired, so as soon as he's climbed these stairs, I'm going to switch off.
Ah, on the top floor. Where else?
Yep, 2 hours. I hope those who watch this will enjoy it. I wish you all. I'm Jack Yardley. I wish you all a good evening.